You are already being hacked and you don't even know if it's possible. So it all sounds like tabloid hyperbole. We are living creatures, we're human beings, we're not robots. How can we be hacked? Now this is a question being raised by Yuval Noah Harari, and he is a historian, he is a professor in Israel, and he is also an author of many best-selling books that look at the history of mankind and its development and its evolution. Now, this raises a number of interesting questions, and I thought it's something that we could have a really good conversation over. What does humans being hacked mean? This stems from the crossroads of two key fields of study, computer intelligence and human psychology. And it also touches on philosophy and religion as well. Now, Harari, he defines it as to create an algorithm that can understand you better than you understand yourself and can therefore predict your choices, manipulate your desires, and make decisions on your behalf. Based on Harari's definition, I boil it down to this. Computers using the information they have on humans to manipulate their behaviour. This means we are being tracked, our personality is logged, our psychology is being interpreted, and this is being used to coerce or nudge us into different behavioural choices in our day-to-day actions and our lives, away from the original paths we were most probably going to take. AI, artificial intelligence, doesn't mean robots that can think like humans, yet. What it means is computers, programs that track data about people and use algorithms, probability calculations on how it will use it. It all sounds futuristic, but AI is already a big part of our everyday lives. What is AI today? How do we experience it? Well, it can save us time. So for example, looking for car insurance, instead of having to call a insurance broker and having individuals, humans, work out what our premium will be, what computer algorithms can do is we just need to enter our data and it will use that data and automatically give us a premium, a suggested premium. This saves us a lot of time, it saves the companies a lot of time, and it saves a lot of money. And it allows us the opportunity to compare prices between one company to another very easily and very quickly. So there is a huge time saving and cost saving benefit to doing this. AI can be helpful. On my smartphone, it can now make suggestions as to the quickest route to my work because it's logging my work location from when I entered it in the address book, and it's telling me the quickest route by public transport or by vehicle or whatever I'm taking. And my iPhone will also create photo albums that are linked by location or event, and it can pretty much detect what's going on in there. For example, celebrations, London restaurants, that sort of thing. But even today, AI can manipulate you and me. If you do online grocery shopping, the computers, the AI will track every product that you order, and it will know what you've ordered, so that the next time when you order and you go to the checkout, if there's an item that you previously had and you don't have anymore, it might offer it to you as a suggestion. For example, some chocolate biscuits, and you might have deliberately left them off your list because you're trying to be more healthy, you're trying to lose weight, whatever that may be. But because the AI knows that you've ordered these before, and it knows that you may have an interest in this product, again, it's offering it to you. And now because of that suggestion, you might then be tempted and choose to order it. So what's happening is you're making an additional purchase that you weren't intending to buy. So through the use of AI, you are being manipulated or being nudged into buying something more. Or for example, Google, YouTube, the internet websites, wherever I look, I'm seeing an advert for an outdoor pizza oven. Now, I've never expressed an interest in a pizza oven. I don't want one, I'm not interested, I don't care for it. But I've seen the advert probably hundreds of times now. I'm now beginning to think that maybe I do want a pizza oven. It's sounding like a pretty cool idea. Now, Harari, he's publicly talked about how he discovered quite late that he was gay. He said that if there is a technology such as eye tracking glasses which can track the movement of your eyes, they may be able to detect what a person is looking at most and what they're most interested in. For example, an attractive woman or an attractive man. And it may be possible that if you are wearing such sort of glasses, such as is likely going to be possible or is likely coming from Apple in the near future, the AI may be able to know more information about you and your interests and your desires before you actually do yourself. whilst I don't think the technology is quite there yet, and Harari has got more belief in the capabilities of their technology, it's certainly going there. But what I will say is that algorithms of TikTok and YouTube, they are certainly having an idea whether a person is, what their interests are, what their politics are, what their orientation is, and so on. So for example, whenever I go on TikTok, I'm always seeing, attractive women doing some sort of stupid dance or whatever. So although that is not definitive, it does give the AI some sort of indication about who I am and what I'm interested in. Now, the reason this matters is because if computer networks or companies or big tech companies have this information, there is then the possibility that they will act on this information, and more likely how they're going to act on this information. So an example that Harari gives is targeted advertisements for the specific user. So it may be that a straight man, if he's looking at a Coca-Cola advert, he will see an advert with an attractive woman dancing, and a gay man might see an advert with a muscle-bound man dancing. And so on one hand, it seems like this is fairly innocent, just advertising to a person, but on the other hand, it's really taking all that unique information from the person about their unique taste, their personality, and it is exploiting it to nudge them into buying something or using something. And perhaps that is an area that we are prone to be exploited. And this is the core of what AI hacking of humans is. Now, a footnote to add to this, which is very important for the algorithms as they develop to become more advanced, is that expressing an interest doesn't necessarily mean agreement. So for example, when I was studying for my master's dissertation, I was looking at the news stories of various political parties in the US, and this was to help me with my research. And it was definitely something I was looking at, but that's not the same as actually me agreeing with the content of these political parties. So what needs to happen is that algorithms need to become aware of this. So the great benefit of AI is that it can save us time, it can save companies time and money, but there is a problem, and that is that data AI has on us can exploit us and exploit our malleability and nudge us to behave in ways we weren't intending to. So I gave the previous example of the online shopping, but also that happens pretty much every day in actual bricks and mortar supermarkets, where you go to the till and near the counter there is sweet treats to encourage you to buy something just before you get to the till. And this is known as food nudging. This is deliberately playing on our human psychology to make us attracted to the food to purchase it. And it's this sort of behavioural nudging that AI will look to do in many different areas of our lives. So when it comes to politics, when there was the 2012 US election, the Obama campaign, it organised a very clever targeted campaign of using data on its potential voters. And it did this so that it could then make sure that people who were likely suggestible to voting for the Democratic Party would. It's believed that this helped the Democratic Party secure the win in 2012. And this is a very, very clever use of the technology. There was a private company, Cambridge Analytica, that harvested information from Facebook, illegally took information from Facebook users, and it used this information and it offered it to political groups to help them with their campaigns. And so this is looked on as an exploitation of the data that it had to help people and push them into voting a particular way. So both the Obama 2012 campaign and Cambridge Analytica, they're both viewed very differently. However, they both use data on people to help give them a push to vote a certain way. AI giving us a push to buy a certain product, that doesn't seem so bad. But giving people a push to vote a certain way, that seems a manipulation of the human mind, of actual nations and people in these nations. And so this is a real problem, because it's like an attack on democracy. And this is why Facebook has made certain rules so that it won't be accepting political advertisements in the run-up to elections. because it knows that governments, sooner or later, they're going to become involved with this and they're going to want to stop this, and it poses a risk to the entire social media platform. Education. In the UK, many high schools, they make use of streaming, also known as tracking. And this is when the new pupils come in at the start of the academic year. The school makes a decision on what class to put them in, whether they are judged academically to be at a lower level or a higher level. Now, this may seem to make sense, but when I went to school, the original categorizations of us was probably not correct, and people who were brighter were perhaps put in the lower classes, and those less capable were put in higher classes. And this was eventually changed. But the danger here is, if you allow AI to do this, it may be that pupils are categorized in one class and they are put in the category with other pupils who are not perhaps doing their best. And so, in effect, it means that they may not do so well either. So there is a real danger of condemning pupils to a category that they are more capable than. And that's why, if you have pupils and you put them in a class with more capable students, it is generally perceived, the general understanding is that pupils will do better if their peers are doing better. So categorization of pupils from AI is potentially risky, and it may limit the pupils' opportunities. Likewise, when applying for jobs. So with jobs, it may be that the company has set some standards as to what candidates should be able to do. This makes sense. But what if the company pre-qualifies candidates and insists that all candidates must have a certain qualification? Now, in practice, in real life, there are candidates who are very capable and able to do a job, but they don't have the qualification. And if they are pre-screened, that means they may not get to the job interview process. And so allowing AI to take over this aspect can again limit people from opportunities that they are capable of doing and that they would be very good and excel at doing. Now, the danger of a computer or AI predicting who you are or making a judgment on who you are is that it doesn't necessarily understand that your taste, your interest, your character changes over the course of time. And so by categorizing you too quickly or too permanently, it can close off opportunities to you. The reality is that people change and grow over time in new directions. But that is a real danger, because women and men, mankind is special. We are not just a series of probabilities, we are more than the sum of our parts. And that is why so many human interest stories are of people who started in life from very difficult circumstances. Maybe, they started from poverty and they have grown to become very successful in their lives, very successful multimillionaires or billionaires. And this is something that, if you looked at the probability of these people doing this from a young age, it would have seemed very unlikely. But it is that human element that allows the individuals to progress, to push themselves into new directions. However, if you just use the AI information on that person, it might have just confined that person to remain in certain categories where they would have had certain options closed off to them. So these algorithms can condemn humans to a low probability life, reducing their opportunities, a new social strata. In the UK, the class system, it hasn't gone away. If you go to certain London offices, it's still there. And this could be an extreme manifestation of it, taken to the nth degree. Now, free will is part of the human experience. And free will is the ability to make changes in your life, to make choices that can take your life in new directions, so that you have the ability to go anywhere and do anything that you desire within reason. And whether you are an atheist or you believe in God, that belief in free will is a big part of many belief system, for understanding of how we are as people, as creatures. Ultimately, the real danger of humans being hacked by AI is that our options are being removed and our free will and our freedom will be lessened.